Welcome to Rentec Direct. We're happy you've come on board and are getting set to begin using the program. Remember, if you run into questions, we have lots of great tools to get you answers quickly. First, check out the Need Help link in the upper right corner of your screen. You'll find lots of great how-to articles and links to email our support team. Or just give us a call at 1-800-881-5139. This quick start video is going to be broken into the following sections. Now let's get started. Here are some basics about the program to make navigation easier. The tabs across the top of the program address specific subjects, meaning if your task is property related, such as maintenance issues or posting expenses, click on the Property tab. Likewise, if you're handling tenant activity like posting rent payments or updating lease terms, the Tenant tab is where you're going to want to be. All blue text indicates a link to another area or task in the program. The blue question mark icon you'll see throughout will offer you an explanation if you hover over it. The pencil paper icon is used for editing transactions. To find menu options for properties, tenants, and accounts, either right-click on the subject or use the arrow key in the balance column. The universal search tool is found here. The filter tools will help you isolate or search, and they will be persistent until you remove them. While you can enter information in any order, we recommend you follow these simple steps for the best results. First, let's head on over to your Settings tab. Review the contact information we have on file for you and be sure to plug in any missing information. Next, review the details under your account and subscription and make any necessary changes to your payment method on file. At this link here, you can view any charges and payments related to your account. Now let's review your accounting defaults. And remember, if you're not sure about a particular setting, hover over the question mark and read the explanation. The late fee and grace period settings shown here, they're universal for all tenants. However, you can establish custom fees per tenant at the time you move them into the program. And before exiting, be sure to save your changes. Next in line would be the setting titled Program Defaults. Review all of these settings, they're pretty important. And be sure to check out the Advanced Settings link in the upper right corner. My preference is to view more details, so I switch the default over to Yes in several of these. And you can toggle this at any time to switch back and forth. If you're going to use the program to track bank account activity, this is the time you'll want to click on the setting Manage Bank Accounts. Use the keys on the left and add in your bank accounts and the related details. If you're working in the PM version of Rentec Direct, you'll want to add in all the property owners and managers next. To do this, click on the settings, Manage Owner, and Set up Property Managers. We recommend you create user profiles for each employee or team member you plan to grant access to your program. To add in additional sub-users, select Manage User Accounts. After you've added in the sub-user, you can toggle their user permissions by clicking on the Permissions link. Be sure to save any changes. Adding in custom income and expense categories at this point is going to save you steps later. However, it can be done at any time. Additional income categories we see other customers add include late fee income and application fee income, so you can track this income separate from standard rent collections. Another popular category customers add in is owner contribution. The remaining setting features should be reviewed, however, they aren't as crucial during your initial setup. Be sure to come back though and customize your rental application, set any email templates you plan to use for automated notices, such as late fees for tenants, and review the custom branding options we offer for adding your logo and personalized login address to the portal. Now we're ready to add in your properties. So let's click on the Property tab and use the tool on the left to add in your first property. Fill in the fields and reference the question mark if explanations are needed. It is important to link the manager, bank accounts, and owner for this property at this point. The income account called undeposited funds is the option you'll want to select if you plan to create bank deposit slips and be able to track bank deposits as they are related to your bank account. Otherwise, simply select the specific bank account you want to reflect the funds. Once you select Add Property, you will want to define any subunits by clicking on the link. If the street address for a particular subunit is different than the master unit, you can add it here. Before you leave your property setup, be sure to set your management and placement fees for the master unit and each subunit by following the link for more property functions. Be sure to do this prior to moving any tenants in or posting their rent payments so that the fees will calculate properly. If management fees are due regardless of whether a tenant pays rent or not, the flat fee or percentage of rent billed option should be selected. On the other hand, if you only collect management fees if the tenant does pay rent, use the percentage of rent paid option. If you have a property reserve you want to keep track of, enter that amount here. Now that you've added in your properties, you can begin adding in your tenants through the Property tab by selecting Place New Tenant. When adding a new tenant, notice how the accounting defaults have carried over, and if you need to make changes, you can do so here. If rent is due on the first of the month, leave the Prorate First Month box checked. If rent is due instead on the day they move in, if it's other than the first day of the month, uncheck this box. After you've listed the tenant's actual move-in date, list the day you want the program to begin billing the tenant under Begin Charges On. This tool is especially helpful when migrating existing tenants into the program and you do not wish to reflect all the historical rent charges. If you have a roommate scenario, you're going to want to think about how you intend to track each roommate, either separately with their own set of charges and payments or jointly with their roommate. When a second tenant is added into a unit, you will be given the choice of whether to keep this tenant separate or group the tenant with the existing tenant. After you have moved your tenant into their property, you may want to add in more details about them, such as phone numbers, social security numbers, or notes, and you can do so through the Tenant tab. Use the Tenant menu to edit the tenant and complete any missing fields. For more details on the tenant portal and email notifications, reference the how-to articles and training videos under the Need Help link. The section called Additional Occupants can be used for additional family members. If you need to set custom late fees and grace periods, you can do so here. In the future, should you need to update the rent charge, follow this quick link. If your tenant has an alternate mailing address from the property address, use the More Tenant Functions link to enter those details. Congratulations, you've made it through the basic setup. Be sure to reference our library of how-to articles and all the other training videos to discover the great tools available to you.